high school GPA.
It is a super important metric for determining a child's success going into the real world. It is a fundamental unit of measurement that allows us to quantify intelligence. I look like a fucking crazy person.
What did you say?
But anyways, here is our tier list. Starting off here right off the bat, let's go ahead and do, you know what? There's a lot of characters we can start off with, but I think we're going to start off with Mishima. I feel like Mishima is a good baseline start. Now, Mishima, he's not the brightest tool in the shed. He's not the sharpest flashlight in the toolbox. I mean, let's just tell it how it is. But he also isn't quite a yikes student. I would say he's probably like a solid B. I'll give him like a low B, sort of mid-tier type of grade point average. Like, he's not getting into Harvard, but at the same time, he'll probably sit comfortably at like a local community college. And also, we're doing base Persona 5 just for now because I haven't actually finished Royal yet, but we're definitely working on it. We're actually doing a live series right now every Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. So definitely go ahead and give that a look. We're co-oping it with Ryan. It is an absolute blast. And also hit that sub button while you're at it. Only 50% of people are subscribed, so why not hit it? Anyways, going back to the tier list here, I think we can safely play Sai in B tier. I know. You guys are like, oh my God, she's a detective. Like, what are you doing? What is this injustice? But hear me out. I think Sai probably honestly didn't do that well in school. I mean, listen, there was a bunch of things throughout the story that went right under her nose. And also on top of that, like, I could definitely see her being like a high B tier student that ended up, maybe obviously making a comeback in college. It was probably one of those things where like, maybe she slacked off, maybe she did too much partying in high school, but then made a wonderful comeback throughout college, which eventually led into her detective career. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and theorize there. I just gotta get that vibe from her. She could definitely be A tier. Like, I could see it going either way for sure. Like, if she had a 4.0, like, I'd get it. I'd understand. I'd be like, yeah, like, that makes sense. But I'm kind of leaning on the side of a party girl sort of turned into a more stricter older sibling that, ended up having all these responsibilities and needed to take care of her family. I could just see that. Now, moving on to a more obvious pick, we got Haru here. We got to give her some more credit. I would say she was probably a C student. Yeah, I feel like that's fair. Like, Haru's not dumb. I mean, there has to be something in that big forehead of hers. Like, there has to be some sort of consciousness there. Maybe we can realign the ranking here later on, but I think for now, Haru is sitting comfortably in that 2.0 to 2.9 tier. Next up, we got Ryuji. Now, I know you guys are looking at that and thinking, oh, Ryuji has to be D. I mean, he's like literally throughout the game, he's known not to be that smart. But I'm gonna tell you guys right here, right now, I'm going to give my man some more credit. I'm going to say a C tier. I don't think Ryuji is not smart. I just don't think Ryuji applies himself. You know what I mean? I think it's one of those common instances where it's like under the hood, Ryuji is probably a smart person. And if you actually dedicated him, time to studies and learning the material, then, maybe he could do better. But I think C tier is probably comfortable for him. Like, it's definitely representative of his low effort, but at the same time, it's not, an overstretch. Like, it's not like he's not completely dumb. He definitely has some sort of smarts going up in the hood. Next up, we got Yusuke. Yusuke, I'm going to actually put an A tier. And I know you guys are looking at this and thinking like, oh my God, Yusuke over Sai? Are you high? And to that question, I'm going to say no, don't do drugs, kids. I mean, unless you want to, by all means. Should I not say that?
What did you say?
Okay, no, don't do drugs. I can't condone. I have to be a good role model. But anyways, Yusuke, I'm going to put at A. And the reason why is because these metrics, you have to keep in mind, these metrics are based on their high school GPA. And if we're going with the story of Sai being a little bit of a party girl coming out of high school, I feel like this is accurate. Because Yusuke, he ain't going to parties. All right, I'm just gonna keep it so real. He ain't going to parties. He ain't getting invited. He is staying indoors and he's painting and he's studying. Like, that's it. And also, he goes to like an art school, if I remember correctly. Like, his school kind of specializes in it. And if that's the case, I mean, shoot, that's right up his alley. Like, that's like making a pig swim in its own mud. Like, it's going to be successful. It's like throwing a fish into the Atlantic and saying, go. Like, just go. Like, he's gonna do well. You know what I mean? So I think Yusuke is probably doing well in high school. Now, if we were to do like a more realistic or more like time-sensitive sort of smartness comparison, Sai probably is smarter than Yusuke, right? Like, if we were looking at current Sai versus current Yusuke, yes, I would say Sai is probably above Yusuke. However, we're looking at their high school personas, right? Let's reference the name of the freaking franchise, I feel like Yusuke is going to be a better high school student than Sai was. I'm just going to place my money on it. Okay, next up we got Futaba. Now Futaba's kind of hard because Futaba didn't go to high school. You know what I mean? So it's like, I guess technically she wouldn't have a GPA, but okay, let's assume, you know, she's a full-time student. I'm going to say A. For sure. Like Futaba would definitely do well in studies. I think so. Like there's no doubt about it. She's smart as hell. I feel like that was pretty obvious, honestly. Next up we have... Sorry, I just threw up my mouth a little bit there. Yeah, Kamoshida, he's definitely in the yikes tier. Besides him being just a terrible human being, right? He's definitely not that smart. He was definitely the high schooler that was just chatting it up and being just the biggest dickweed. Like literally, he might as well have just changed his name to Chad because he was probably just an annoyance throughout all 4 years of high school. I could comfortably sit him in this tier. He definitely failed for sure. I'm gonna put Gunkel in, I think, D tier. I'm gonna put him in D tier. I don't think he was doing that well in high school. I love Gunkel. I do. I really do. I think he's a great character. And I think he's an awesome dude, right? Really cool, really nice guy. But yeah, I don't think he was doing that well in high school. It's just, call it a hunch, call it whatever you want. Yeah, I'm not really vibing with that, to be honest. Next up, we got Makoto. I feel like this is pretty obvious. Of course, she's getting A's. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I feel like, honestly, Makoto was a better student in her prime than Sai was. Once again, going back to that party girl persona, I just think Sai was kind of not really 100% in it with the studies, you know? I feel like Sai definitely had a little bit of a detour there, but Makoto, she's staying on track, despite also being a phantom thief. I'm going to say An's a B student. An's a B student. I think she's doing well. I really don't have much more to say about that. I think she's just doing her best, honestly. Honestly. God damn it.
We should give up.
Next up, we got Hifumi. I feel like this is pretty obvious as well. I mean, dude, just look at the size. Wait, why is she so much smaller? Oh, wait, no, why is Makoto so much bigger? What? Hifumi's kind of in the same boat as Makoto, where, like, she is just studious, right? She's out there. She's getting good grades. She's gonna go to a good college. Like, I believe in Hifumi. We got Akechi here. Okay, Akechi... Let's just tell it how it is. Akechi's definitely A tier. Bro, there's so many smart people in this game. It's actually insane. But dude, yeah, Akechi is a genius. I mean, listen, he's a prodigy. I feel like he speaks for himself. He's a prodigy. He's a detective. He like literally came straight out of high school, just going straight into detective work. Like it's actually insane. Despite being a little woo, he has his bearings when it comes to his studies. He does not drop the ball when it comes to his AP Calc test. All right, let's keep it crystal clear. Next up, we have this motherfucker. I don't even remember his name. Kind of Shiro, is that his name? I don't even know. Yeah, he definitely failed. He definitely failed high school. Like he probably dropped out, I would say like sophomore year. Next up, we got Igor and Evil Gore. I would say, yeah, they're definitely both getting 4.0s. I mean, let's just tell it how it is. They're omniscient, right? Like there's no way they're not going to do well in high school. Obviously, they probably wouldn't even go to high school, but if they did, metaphorically, right, they would definitely do well. Like there's no questions about that. It would basically be the equivalent of them plugging in a freaking action replay into the school system. Like it's really not that complicated. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think Morgana was doing too well. I just don't see him being very studious. I gotta keep it real. He definitely was the kind of guy to go off and kind of do his own thing, probably focus more so on like, you know, recreational activities over his studies. He probably, instead of coming home and studying, he probably came home and just, I don't know, played Black Ops and then went to bed. So I would say Morgana's probably in the C tier, just kind of barely scraping by like Ryuji, which I feel like is fitting. Speaking of Call of Duty, I'm gonna have to give Video Game Kid, I'm gonna have to say he's probably... Yeah, he's probably C. He's probably C. I think he's just barely scraping by too. Because, like, it's also one of those things where, like, he's so preoccupied with other activities that I don't think school is, like, very high on his priority list. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he's not smart. Like, I think if he really applied himself, I think he could probably get A's. Like, I'm not gonna front. I think he could be a 4.0 student, but I just don't think he cares. You know what I mean? I think that's really what it boils down to. And I think that's why a lot of these characters are getting C's. Like, it's not that they're dumb. Well... It's not that they're dumb, with the exception of Haru, but they just aren't really applying themselves, you know? Next up, we got Joker. Joker's a B student. Now, Joker is kind of like a blank slate, you know? So it's kind of hard to, like, really give him a proper analysis. But I feel like Joker at least tries. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he's like on this level of intelligence, right? Like he ain't getting straight A's. There's no way. But I think he's giving it his all and he's doing a good job, you know? I feel like that's fair to say. Now, Kumara's kind of hard to place because on one hand, you know, he did create a very successful, you know, business conglomerate. You know, I mean, he's out here, he's financing, he's doing his diggly damn thing. He's got investors. He's probably doing well in the stock market. Like, I would say Akumura is definitely smart on that front, but I think the true analysis here needs to come from, was he smart in high school? And I think I'm going to say yes. I think Akumura honestly was an A student in high school. And I know that might be surprising for some of you guys. I know you guys might be sitting in your seats like, oh, you know, or maybe standing up or maybe taking a shit and being like, oh, you know, like, I don't know. What do you guys do when you watch these videos? I'm not entirely sure. But I think Akumura does rank pretty high. I think he definitely was very studious. I think he was kind of like a loner kid. If I had to assume, if I had to stereotype him, I'd say he was probably like one of those kids that was kind of shy, off to himself. He just kind of focused, you know, put his head down and just did his work. And that was kind of it. I could also see him being a teacher's pet. Honestly, like back in the day, I could see it. And then he grew up to be a very crooked and awful man. But I think in high school, he probably was, you know, a shy kid that just, you know, wanted to suck up to everybody and wanted to maybe make his parents proud. I don't know. This could translate well into the story too, because obviously he's very strict and very hard on Haru. So maybe like this sort of overbearingness came from his parents before him that were overbearing on him. And so maybe he kind of like trickled down those expectations to his daughter. I don't know. I'll be real. I think Sojuro was a player. I think Sojuro was an absolute player in high school. I do not think he cared about studies. I'm gonna be real. I think he was the type of guy to go tailgating on the weekends. He probably didn't wear a seatbelt when he drove. He probably did a lot of reckless activities that I would not condone involving alcohol. Like, I just could see it. Sojuro is definitely, he comes off like a ladies' man. He comes off like a player. He comes off like somebody who in his youth, he was chatting it up, but then obviously over time, he became much more responsible and more family orientated, which makes sense. It makes sense. That comes with age, you know? Next up, we got Lavenzia. With Lavenzia here, I guess I'll put her in the same slot as like Evil Gore and Igor. They're kind of omniscient, you know? So I feel like, you know, it's kind of like the action replay type thing. But then again, I don't know. She could probably be lower. I feel like Lavenzia could honestly go anywhere. But I'll go ahead. I'll assume she's omniscient. I'll assume she has the cheat codes. We'll keep her in the 4.0 tier. Next up, we have the photographer. Yeah. No, you know what? Yeah, she's not doing too well. she did not do too well in high school. Or maybe she was a B student. I don't know. Dude, she's hard to place. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't really do her confidant, so I don't really know much about her. I'll say, you know what? No, you know what? I think Gunkel needs a friend. Yeah, we'll put her in D tier. I feel like she wasn't that smart. I'm just getting those vibes. I don't really have anything to back it up. Maybe it's the glasses. Maybe it's the fashion sense. I don't know. I'm kind of getting vibes that she didn't care about high school, or maybe she's just an airhead. I don't know. We'll leave her at D tier. I feel like she sits pretty comfortably there. Obviously, you guys can let me know your opinions down below. All right, Takemi's kind of hard to place. I'll say B. Like, she's definitely smart. For sure. And I think, you know, she could probably have gotten a 4.0 if she applied herself. I feel like I keep going back to this. But I feel like Takemi, like, even though she is brilliant, I don't think she really cared for high school. I just have a feeling. I have a feeling she was probably very anti-high school. She probably hated going. And obviously, if you really hate going to high school, it's going to detract from your overall grade point average because you're not really going to be fully applying yourself. And I just feel like she probably hated the process. Like, it wasn't like she wasn't smart. It wasn't like she wasn't trying. I just think she hated it. So like every time she went, she just wasn't really feeling it and therefore didn't put in the most effort she possibly could. So I'm going to say B. Next up, we have this girl. Fortune teller. I literally know nothing about her. I'm just gonna say B tier? Yeah, she's probably getting good grades. I think I literally talked to her once in the game. I don't even know her name. Madarame, D tier. Listen, he's not like dumb. Well, he's pretty dumb. He's not like mega dumb like Kamoshida and whoever this guy is. I could see him being the type of guy to skip class a lot and just like overall be frustrated with the school system. Like maybe he wasn't like super dumb by any means, but like he just kind of like wasn't a good test taker, or he just just got like frustrated at like the busy work or whatever it is. Like something probably tipped him off and turned him off from the whole school concepts here. So I would say he's probably sitting with a pretty low grade point average. Next up, we have the mayor here, or politician. I don't know a lot about him, but I'm gonna say he got B's. I'm gonna say he got B's. I feel like he did all right. You know, like I don't think he's like, you know, a mega genius, but I feel like he did his best, you know? Next up, we have Futaba's mom. I think she was killing it. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, she was doing good research, you know, she was studying up, and I feel like she was just very in tune with her studies. And I feel like that's where Futaba gets a lot of her studious traits from. They're also very good self-learners, you know what I mean? Because obviously Futaba didn't really go to school. A lot of the things she learned was self-taught. So I think that also translates well into the school system, because obviously whatever your teachers failed to teach you, you could just learn yourself. So I think that definitely helped them both out in the educational system. I think Kawi, God, where do I put her? I would say B tier. No, C's. No, we'll say B's. We'll give her some more credit. I think she's smart. I just feel like she was probably middle of the pack. You know what I mean? Like she wasn't really excelling by any means, but she was doing her best, you know, and that's all that matters really. Shido's hard. I don't think he's that smart, but I also don't think he's like mega dumb. I'll say C's. I don't really have like much evidence to back this up, right? Like I'm kind of just going based on my gut here. But Shido, I would say he was smart enough to get by, but I feel like he was almost too ambitious. Like he was kind of the type of person to have so much external ambition building up from outside sources that he just, I don't know, he just didn't put enough attention into his studies. I feel like that was probably his entire mindset. He probably hated the world from the very beginning, and consequently, he didn't really put a lot of attention into quote-unquote like mainstream methods of success, you know? So anyways, that's my list. Obviously, this is a very opinionated, very jokey video, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you guys want me to do more stuff like this in the future. I had a great time doing it, and let me know down below what your own list would be. I would love to hear your opinions and stuff, but thank you all so much for watching. I love you guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you all so much. Peace. Bye.